Have you ever opened ChatGPT, typed a few words, then deleted them because you couldn't think what to ask? Or maybe you sat down to solve a problem, and instead of beginning, you found yourself waiting for a prompt, a suggestion, a place to start. Not because you had nothing to say, but because your thoughts no longer felt enough. If that feels familiar, this video isn't really about AI. It's about something much deeper. Because the biggest change AI may bring isn't that it writes better than we do. It's that many of us are quietly forgetting how to think before asking. And once that happens, creativity doesn't disappear overnight. It slowly hands over the steering wheel. Most people think creativity dies because of distraction. But there's another possibility almost nobody talks about. Every original idea begins with uncertainty, a blank page, a silent cursor. For generations, those uncomfortable moments were simply part of thinking. Today, they last only seconds before we escape them. Instead of sitting with the question, we ask AI. Instead of exploring bad ideas, we ask for polished ones. Instead of wrestling with confusion, we outsource it. And every time we do, our brain learns something dangerous. Not that AI is smarter, but that thinking is optional. That tiny shift changes everything. Think about the last difficult problem you faced. Did you spend time exploring possibilities? Or did your hand almost automatically reach for ChatGPT? Maybe you've noticed yourself opening AI before you've decided what you're trying to solve. You aren't looking for answers anymore. You're looking for direction. That shift changes everything. Psychologists call this cognitive offloading. Research by Dr. Sam Gilbert suggests that when our brains know thinking can be outsourced, they're less likely to engage deeply themselves. Why struggle when an answer is a click away? The more we outsource the beginning of thought, the less often our minds choose to begin on their own. Imagine a gym where every machine lifts the weights for you. You'd spend hours there, but never become stronger. Thinking works the same way. The effort isn't the obstacle. The effort is the exercise. Every difficult thought strengthens your mind. Skip enough repetitions, and the muscle weakens. Psychologist Albert Bandura discovered that confidence isn't built by talent. It's built through what he called mastery experiences. Every time you solve a difficult problem yourself, your brain stores a belief. I can figure this out. That's genuine confidence. Not that someone else has answers, but that you can create them. The problem isn't using AI. It's skipping the struggle that teaches your brain it can think independently. Give a child a cardboard box, and it becomes a spaceship, a castle, a secret hideout. They don't fear bad ideas, they simply begin. Adults often do the opposite. We fear bad beginnings. Instead of writing the first imperfect sentence, we ask AI to write it for us. Little by little, someone else's momentum replaces our own. And that's where creative paralysis quietly begins. There's another reason independent thinking feels harder today. Neuroscientist Dr. Gloria Mark has shown that constant notifications force our brains to switch attention. Every interruption has a cost. Over time, deep thinking starts to feel expensive. Not because you're less intelligent, but because your brain has adapted to constant interruption. Eventually, the easiest option is no longer to think. It's to wait for the prompt, for the suggestion, for someone else to begin. Does this mean AI is destroying creativity? Not at all. A calculator didn't destroy mathematics. GPS didn't destroy navigation. They changed what we practiced. AI is no different. The real danger isn't artificial intelligence. It's forgetting to practice the skill that made intelligence valuable in the first place. The question isn't whether you use AI, it's whether AI helps you think or replaces the need to. Nearly 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote that true freedom begins when your judgments belong to you. Not because they're always right, but because you've examined them yourself. Ancient Indian philosophy reaches the same conclusion. The Bhagavad Gita describes Buddhi, the faculty of discernment, not memory, not knowledge, but the quiet ability to see clearly before acting. Buddhism teaches the same lesson through meditation. When the mind wanders, you don't run from it. You gently bring it back, again and again. 3 traditions. 1 timeless truth. Clarity isn't downloaded, it's cultivated. How do you protect that ability in an age of instant answers? Not by rejecting AI, but by changing your relationship with it. Here's the digital mind reset. First, think before you prompt. Before asking AI, write down 3 possible answers. They don't have to be brilliant, only yours. Second, build thinking time. Spend 15 minutes every day with no phone, no music, and no AI. Your own thoughts. It'll feel uncomfortable. That's your mind rebuilding its strength. Third, create more than you consume. For every 30 minutes you spend consuming, create for 10. Write, journal, sketch. Creation reminds your brain it still has something worth saying. Fourth, let AI challenge you. Don't ask, give me ideas. Ask, what am I missing? Challenge my assumptions. Use AI as a sparring partner, not a substitute brain. Finally, protect the blank page. Don't rush to fill every moment. Leave room for silence. That's where original ideas begin. The blank page isn't your enemy. It's your training ground. The most valuable skill may not be writing the perfect prompt. It may be having an original thought before writing one. Because prompts begin with questions. Questions begin with curiosity. And curiosity cannot be automated. Every invention, every breakthrough, every great work of art began with someone sitting with a question that didn't yet have an answer. That's the muscle worth protecting. If you've been feeling strangely dependent on AI lately, don't panic. Your creativity hasn't disappeared. It's simply become impatient. Every time you struggle with a blank page, every time you think before you search, every time you choose curiosity over convenience, you're teaching your brain something important. I still know how to think. The next time you open ChatGPT and find yourself waiting for the perfect prompt, pause. Stay with the silence a little longer. Let your mind speak first. The future won't belong to the people who write the best prompts. It will belong to those who never stopped asking their own questions, because every prompt begins with a question, and the people who shape the future will still know how to ask their own. And perhaps, in a world overflowing with perfect answers, the rarest form of intelligence will belong to those who still know how to think before they ask. If this perspective changed the way you think about AI and about yourself, subscribe to Digital Mind Mentor. Every week, we explore psychology, neuroscience, and timeless wisdom to help you navigate the digital age without losing what makes you human. The digital world will keep getting louder, but your inner world doesn't have to.